evening. Welcome home. My name is Daniel Brower. I use he, she, or they pronouns, and I am the transitional minister here at First Christian Church of Decatur. Welcome to 601 Wednesday, our midweek meditation moment. You'll notice I am on my phone, and this is because my laptop microphone continues to be broken. Actually, for all I know, my phone microphone is broken too. I'm just trusting that y'all can hear me. And if not, oh well. But we're going to persist anyway. And speaking of persisting, I am very glad to be back in my beautiful office once again after spending a blessed and fruitful 5 days in Memphis, Tennessee for the 2025 General Assembly. I said general that time, not regional. General Assembly of the Christian Church Disciples of Christ in the United States and Canada. It was my first time attending I really just was so proud that I got it right, and then I jacked it up again. My first time attending General Assembly. And it was really, really cool to get to meet so many disciples from around North America and to see and hear about all of the ministries going on in the Christian church across the world, honestly. Now, as some of you may know, I grew up Primitive Baptist, and Primitive Baptists, we don't really have a huge national gathering. We don't even have a huge regional gathering. The Lower Canoochee Association of Independent Progressive Primitive Baptists might meet once a quarter. I don't know. But Primitive Baptists don't really go in for the whole church networking thing. And despite the fact that I have not been a Primitive Baptist for well over a decade at this point, there is still a small church part of me that does wonder, what is the point of participating in the national church, right? What's the point of giving to the general church? Like, if we're doing all that we can just to survive here, why would we divide our resources between ourselves and the bigwigs in Indianapolis? Like, why does it matter that we're part of a larger denomination? Now, a lot of people in churches over the years, especially in recent years, have decided it's not worth it. Non-denominational churches are popping up all over the place, and the denominational affiliation is declining along with all the other voluntary associations that the Reverend Dr. Ted Smith talked to us about the other day. Not that you would know it from the amount of people at General Assembly. I mean, well, I thought it was a lot of people, but I've never been before, so who knows. But it's true. So, as disciples of Christ, why do we think it's important to continue to be a part of the broader ministry of the Christian Church Disciples of Christ in the United States and Canada? Now, obviously, I can't speak for all disciples, because the whole thing about the disciples is that each person makes up their own mind. To me, it is vitally important to be part of the broader church for two important reasons. The first is that we can do more good together than we can apart. We are concerned a lot about our resources or relative lack thereof. We don't really have a lot to give at the size that we are. And that can feel a little depressing. And we still have something to give. And when we do give to a broader ministry, that plants a seed that can yield a harvest that we can't even imagine. Back in the day, a group of local churches here in Decatur, including ours, by the way, started Decatur Cooperative Ministries out of exactly this thought, that we are greater together than we are apart. Yes, we're a small church. Yes, we don't have a lot of resources. And I got to sit in the plenary hall this weekend and listen to reports from Week of Compassion and Global Ministries and Disciples Home Missions and so many others, talking about all of the funding and the services that they are able to provide as a result of the combined gifts of all of our small churches. Like, I believe they said that the average attendance at a Disciples church is like sub 60 people. And yet, we are giving millions and billions of dollars in funding and aid to so many causes across the world. And it's incredible that we are able to say we were part of that. This tiny little seed that we sowed in the field of our regional and general churches produced a harvest greater than anything we could accomplish alone. And it's not just the financials that make this partnership worthwhile. The other reason that I think it's so valuable to be part of a broader church is the knowledge that we are not alone. The issues that we're facing, not only locally but also nationally, the moral outrage that we feel over the state of the nation, the state of our faith in this day and time, and the anxiety over the future can feel really overwhelming to us. We can get really caught up in like, oh my gosh, what is First Christian Church of Decatur going to do? And, it's right that we should be concerned about that. And it becomes that much less overwhelming when you look to your left and your right, or you sit in a conference room full of people who all say, yeah, we're having the same concerns. Or, even better, you sit across from someone who says, yeah, we had the same concerns, and this is what we did about them. To know that your situation is not unique, you're not the only or the first person to have these issues or fears, can be really powerful. The knowledge that you're not alone is game-changing in this day and age. In the words of writer C.S. Lewis, friendship is born at the moment when one person says to another, oh, you too? I thought I was the only one. The psalmist writes, behold how good and how pleasant it is for brothers to dwell together in unity. And the Gospels say that where 2 or 3 are gathered, there the Lord is among them. The gathering and unity of our own church is beautiful and blessed, and we should not forsake the gathering together of one another. And how much more of a blessing is it when we can share that fellowship and that gathering with so many others from across the nation? I am very, very grateful for the opportunity to attend General Assembly. Got it right that time. And I look forward to talking more about what I learned there in the future. In the meantime, speaking of not forsaking of the gathering of ourselves together, the time is fast approaching where we get to gather together once more. This Sunday, the 20th, we're having worship again, just like we do every Sunday morning. We are having Sunday school at 9:15 in our Pathfinders room for our adults. We are rapidly circling the close of Dr. Rosamond Rodman's stint with us as Sunday school teacher, so if you have not been able to experience her teaching and that fantastic conversation, I highly encourage you to check her out this Sunday at 9:15. Following that, at 10:25 is our morning worship service. We are going to be live on Facebook as well as in person in the fellowship hall, so please join us for that. And then, directly after the worship service, we will be having a called congregational meeting to discuss whether or not we are going to have a Christmas tree sale in 2025. It promises to be a really interesting and fruitful and thoughtful discussion, so I really hope that if you're part of the congregation, you join us for that. If you're not part of the congregation, you can still join us for that, you just can't vote. And that's okay. We're still glad to see you, no matter what happens. And, again, no matter what happens, remember this. God made you special. God loves you very much. And so do I. Good night, everyone. Have a good evening. Where's the off button on my phone? We'll just stay here all night, I guess.